Hello, everyone. It's Fred again from Notes of a Nomad, number 65, early in May already in 2021. Where does the time go? Today, I want to sort of finish my last formal job that I had, which was selling project management software on the internet. Started with a company in Toronto and continued with them when I moved to Victoria in 2008, spent a total of about 10 and a half years selling their software. The background to all of what I've been telling you, or all the jobs that I've done, is the ability to adapt to change is very important and been very positive in my life. So that is really the basics of the last many videos of the jobs. So let me tell you why I'm showing the screen here. I did a recent presentation on change and how we implement change, and I found this presentation from Easy Projects when people buy the software, but they need to adapt it and use it. It's no use buying it if you don't use it. So it means change, and this was some of what I used to show people. The fact that you have to block all exits if you want to change. There's no going back to the old routines, no exceptions. You've got to decide we are going to do this if you're going to do anything in life and you're going to make a change. And then you have to look at the motivation of people, in this case, individuals and team. It's always important to work with others and including to make the um, impact on the company that you're trying to do. Monitoring progress, it's important we, even as individuals. How are we doing? Are we getting the results we want? Is it happening? Or what can we adapt and change to make sure? And then get some training and do some learning. We have to learn how to make those changes and get everybody involved. One of the items here I remember is champions. You've got to find people who are sort of the early adapters who can help the others. It's all got to do with people, Scott. And of course, talking about people communications, because people will say, why should we change? You hear that all the time. Why should I get a COVID-19 vaccine, etc.? So these are the challenges we have when we are trying to implement change, including when I was selling easy projects over the internet. So that was the last job that I had and finished in 2016. But it really makes me think of why change. And I think it's been a very positive influence on my life. If I look at all the jobs that I did, including some that I haven't even spoken about, well, I delivered newspapers in Thunder Bay. So that was probably the first paying job, quote unquote. Not that I got paid very much for that, but hey. Also, I unloaded boxcars of wheat. Boxcars coming by the railways from the prairies to Vancouver during my summer holidays. I unloaded boxcars of wheat. That was a tough physical labor, a well paying job. I also helped put out the university newspaper. That was not a paying job, but I did that for over a year. 4 nights a week would go to the newspaper, to the printers to put the newspaper to bed, as it was called, before they presses printed them all and they were distributed to the University of British Columbia. Other jobs that I did that haven't spoken about was Ken and I, the fellow who owns this boat, when we were in Europe, we worked for about a month and a half, I think, or a month in a warehouse doing odd jobs. And then also in East Africa, when I was traveling through Africa, I ended up in South Africa before I started on the gold mines. I worked on a farm on the slopes of Mount Kilimanjaro doing odd jobs. So those are some of the jobs. So as I've indicated previously, did the gold mining, sold computer mainframes, sold mini computers, sold SaaS software, front-end processors for NCR Comten, data compression devices for datagram, didn't ran my own hunting, sold the project management, and now what I'm doing today. We'll talk about that a little bit more on the next one. But all those changes in my life, moving, working jobs, shows that we are adaptable and we can adapt and we can make those changes. Not always easy, not always simple and quick, but always positive because you learn something and you learn that you can be resilient and you can adapt and you learn a lot. So changes, I think, and change is very important on how we can adapt it. So that is my summary of all of the jobs that I've had in my life that I can think of or remember. So hopefully my grandchildren say, hey, my grandpa did a lot of interesting things, or a lot of things, maybe interesting or not, in his life. And that's what the future holds for our youth. They will be changing jobs regularly because everything is in being changed with artificial intelligence and bioengineering, etc., coming and hitting the world. So I'll end that on that note and remind that being able to adapt to change is very important, particularly for our younger generation. So adios, au revoir from Notes of a Nomad, wishing you, your family and friends lots of love and laughter. Bye for now from Fred and Notes of a Nomad.